Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So I got an email from a subscriber, and the subscriber sent a donation. So thanks for your donation. And remember, guys, if you want to guarantee that your question will be answered, make sure you click the link below and send a donation. All right. So this one says, I know how to approach, set up dates and close the deal, but my mindset is messed up. I live in Phoenix. It's a superficial city. I'm an average looking guy and know that looks don't matter. But the only time I see black guys with women that I would consider hot, those guys are usually on the Tyrone side of things. The girls that gravitate towards me are heavier women and girls that obviously have no self-confidence. Deep down inside, I know that I can get the girls I want. I know that I'm not limited to the girls that I'm not attracted to. I know it's a numbers game. I've been rejected plenty of times, but I can't help but think that I'm being rejected because of my looks. Girls ignoring me, being rude. Girls are emotionless when I'm interacting with them. I take care of my appearance. I'm masculine and I'm smooth with my approach, but man, it feels like I'm wasting time. I'm familiar with Rom's select versus non-select concept, and I'm being treated like I'm non-select. I refuse to be a loser, and I hate believing in leagues, but reality is saying otherwise. Do you have any tips or wisdom that you can share with me? How can I be consistent in terms of having a positive mindset? All right, so this is the thing that you got to understand. And I know a lot of guys, go through this dating game and feel that way. They're like, man, I'm trying to, holler at these chicks. And, it seems like the only ones that make it easy for me are the ones I'm not really feeling like that. And, I see these other hot girls I want to get at, and, it's hard for me to get these women. And, I'm approaching these girls and shit's not popping off and all that other stuff. Right. And then you start to, think about, it must be my looks and all these other things. Right now, what you have to understand is, and I've talked about this before, is that in order to get from the game, you have to give. All right. In order to get, you have to give. Now, what that means is, in order for you to get a certain thing going, in order for you to get things happening, you have to give some energy in order to get back a certain thing, right? So meaning that if you want a bunch of women to sleep with, right? If you want to get that, that means you have to give time and energy to approaching and interacting with women, right? If you want to, let's say have a long-term relationship with a chick, in order to get that, you have to give time, energy, consistency, all of those are the things you got to give for it, right? Now, the issue is, right, because you're saying, I'm out here and I'm talking to these girls and I'm, making things happen and all these other things, right? Now, what happens is that you're doing these things and you're actually getting back exactly what you're giving, because what you're giving at this point is, insecurity, and you're giving a defeatist attitude, a defeatist mindset. Because what I found interesting about what stuck out to me was, you said that the women that gravitate to you, right, are the heavier women and girls that obviously have no self-confidence, right? Which is interesting. You said that because basically what you're really talking about is yourself. You understand? That's what you're talking about. When you said that, you were talking about yourself, because what happens is that you're basically attracting you. See, I don't want to get too deep on this, but I'm just trying to get you to understand what's going on here. So you don't know these women, but in your eyes or in your view, you're like, well, they're not self-confident. They have no confidence, whatever it is. But that's really what's going on with you, right? Because you saying that, it's probably, I don't look as good as those Tyrone guys that are getting the hot women. You understand? And so therefore, I'm not getting the hot women. I keep trying to make things happen and women don't want to get with me. And, now I'm doubting myself and all these different things. Right. And so what you have to understand is the reason why you're having these issues, right, is because of how you're thinking about the situation, right? which is causing you to continue to have the results you're having. Because see, this is what you got to understand. Like I say, when I talk about this game, it's about you giving to get, right? So what happens is that your insecurity is also stopping you from doing the things that you need to do, which is giving. It's stopping you from giving more to actually get exactly what you want. Because low key, what you're doing is that you're sort of accepting what's happening and sort of saying, oh, well, it's just because, the Tyrone guys get the hot women, right? And so you're basically saying you're not one of those guys, which means that you're the opposite of them, which means that you're not that good looking Tyrone guy, which means what's the point of doing what you're doing? Because, from what you're saying, right? You're basically saying you're kind of giving up to a certain extent, or you're on the brink of giving up to a certain extent based off how you're believing certain things. You see what I'm saying? See, because you said girls ignore me, being rude. Girls are emotionless when I'm interacting with them, right? And he said, I take care of my appearance. I'm masculine. I'm smooth in my approach, but man, it feels like I'm wasting time. And then you said that you feel like you're the non-select guy, right? So you feel like you're the opposite of the quote unquote Tyrones. Now, also what sucks is that you're comparing yourself to the guys. That's a whole nother story. But again, you don't realize how you're viewing yourself. So what you're giving to the game is, I'm non-select. I'm not that guy. So what you're getting back is what the non-select and the guy who's not that guy gets. You see what I'm saying? See, what happens is this, right? Is that you can shift your mindset so that you're giving the game a guy who's confident, a guy who's consistent, and a guy who doesn't let up until he gets what he wants, right? But right, and what happens is if you give the game that, the game has no choice but to, give you what you want. So you'll get back what you actually want. Right now, what you're giving the game is insecurity, doubt, all of that other stuff. Right? Because see, what you got to understand is this, is everything you're going through as far as, and I want to be specific about what you said in this part. When you said girls ignoring me, being rude, girls are, being emotionless when you're interacting with them and stuff like that, right? That happens to every guy. You understand what I'm saying? You're not special. That happens to every guy. I don't care how they look. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care how much game they got, all that. You're going to always run into women who are going to ignore you. You're going to run into women who are going to be rude. You're going to run into women who aren't giving you that type of energy, right? That's going to happen, period. It's going to happen to every guy. See, the guys that win, though, don't let that shit get to them and stop them from doing what they need to do to actually make things happen, right? So what's holding you back from actually getting what you want is you're indulging in the doubts, you're indulging in the insecurity, you're indulging in, the reactions you're getting at this moment. Think about it like, when you hear, for example, you might hear a famous actor or a famous rapper or even a successful entrepreneur, so forth and so on, right? You know what's similar with all these people's stories? The similar thing that they all have in common is that you will always find that they will say, yeah, when I first started trying to get a record deal, none of these labels wanted to sign me. When I was acting, I did, a bunch of, short films and pilots that never made it. And I had to work for years and grind and nothing was happening. Right. You hear the business owner, oh man, we had tough times. We were working for years before we even made a profit and so forth and so on. But all those people had in common is even though that was happening, they kept going because they believed that they was going to get something out of the game because they're giving to the game, right? They didn't let all the BS stop them. You see what I'm saying? So what happens is that you will lose if you let all that other shit stop you. You understand what I'm saying? If you start to focus on, oh man, this is happening and that is happening, you're not giving yourself space to actually make what you want to happen, because you have to go through all of that to really make what you want to happen. You see what I'm saying? So you can't let, this, because I bet you, I bet any amount of money that if I was to ask you, how many girls, have you been hollering at, all week? How many girls you holler at a day? Are you on, how often are you using the dating apps? How often are you, interacting with just different people and trying to get into different events and all this other stuff? Like, how often are you being consistent with this? I bet if I was to ask you this, right, you wouldn't tell me, oh yeah, I'm hollering at like 25, 30 girls a day. You wouldn't tell me that you're on the dating apps. You wouldn't tell me that you're, moving and shaking in these social circles to see what's popping. I bet you're not going to tell me that. You understand? And that's another thing where it's like, because you're not really giving, because to give to the game would mean you would actually be doing all these things on a consistent basis, and then you would actually get something back. Because this is the thing, think about this, right? You said that, because I'm assuming you're black, because you're comparing yourself to the black guys who you consider Tyrones and all that other stuff. And the fact that you're even using that terminology makes me think that your thought process is more on this black pill side of YouTube and all that other nonsense you be looking at probably. And then you basically saying that, you're saying the girls that gravitate towards you are the heavier women and the girls that have no self-confidence, right? And what you're essentially saying is the women who gravitate to you, I'm guessing, is what you're saying is that the women who might probably, make it easy on you from the jump, as far as you not having to really do anything. Like maybe the woman is giving you more of the choosing signals and just sort of in your circumference in that way, right? Because my question to you would be, if you don't like those women and you actually are approaching those women, why are you approaching those women? And why aren't you focused, 100% on the women you would consider, let's say 8s, 9s, and 10s, right? Why aren't you focused on those type of women? Because if you're focused on those type of women, then, if you get a woman in that group, you will have a woman who's an 8, 9, or 10. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is that the reason why you guys are having a hard time in the game is you want to get something, but you're not giving in order to make something happen. And then what you do is that you feel distraught or you feel disgruntled because things aren't going your way yet. You understand? But what you have to do is you have to stay consistent and keep pushing, because what happens is that the more you do what you do, that strengthens your game so that you'll be actually able to handle dealing with certain situations. Because you say you want these hot girls now, but then let's say you do get the hot girl, what are you going to do? How are you going to maintain the situation? How are you if you're so distraught about the fact that women are rejecting you now, if you was to get that woman, how would you handle losing that chick in the week? You understand? You'd be losing your goddamn mind. You understand? Because right now you're not mentally strong enough to handle that. Because if you were mentally strong enough to handle that, then you would just keep going and this would not be an issue. But this is why I say that you gotta, keep it going regardless of what's happening now. Now, again, this is why it's important to step up your game, learn certain things to, improve your game so that shit will progress better and in some cases faster. But at the same time, you still just have to have the mentality and the mindset to be able to get through these situations without it holding you back. Because like I said earlier, this happens with every guy. You're not special. You understand what I'm saying? Every guy is going to go through women who ain't trying to talk to him and, rejecting them on the front end or whatever. Or, he goes out and try to make some happen with women. They flake. Women are all over the fucking place. They're fickle. You understand? One minute they about it, the next minute they not. You understand? You try to holler at a chick. Some of them might have an attitude problem. It is what it is. That's part of the game, man. You understand what I'm saying? That is part of the game. And when you step up your game, you realize that none of that shit means anything. You don't let that affect you, and you stay focused on where you're trying to go. Right? So what I would say to you at the end of the day is, bruh, remember, you got to give to get, and you can't let the things that are going on as far as, oh, this girl rejected me or this girl flaked or whatever, you can't let that get to you, because that's not going to go anywhere. That's going to continue to happen. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, this happens to me all the time. There's certain chicks I holler at, they ain't trying to talk. I set up dates, chicks flake. You understand what I'm saying? You talk to this chick, at first everything seemed cool, and the next minute it's on some other shit. It is not going to stop. And don't get me started on, the maintenance you need to have to maintain, like, let's say a long-term fuck buddy or a chick you're dating, or even a girlfriend or wife. That's a whole nother thing. Right? But just understand that this happens to every guy. And in order for you to get exactly what you want, you have to be willing to give consistently.
Now, before you go, click the link below and go to badboymembership.com. Now, badboymembership.com is a place where you go to get 45 through 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month. Listen, I know you're tired of being rejected. Go to badboymembership.com. I know you're tired of being afraid to approach women. Go to badboymembership.com. I know you're tired of not getting the women that you want. Go to badboymembership.com. Listen, I know you're tired of being alone on a Friday night. Go to badboymembership.com. Now picture this. You'll go from not getting what you want when it comes to you dealing with women to actually getting what you want, to being the guy women want to be with, women want to date, women want to have sex with. All you need to do is go to badboymembership.com, follow the steps, learn the game, implement the game, and then you will get the woman you want. Make sure you go to badboymembership.com today. Click the link below.
Click the link below or go straight to mr.locario.com to get the documentary Game Kings, The Definition of Game.